Now, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji
Thank
to
you.
reply to the discussion.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Thank you, Chairman, sir, for giving me the
No,
opportunity
please.
to respond.
नहीं आप बात कर लो जी, आप बात कर लो जी, आप बात कर लो जी, जी आप बात कर लो। उनका नहीं दे रहे ना जी, नहीं दे रहे।
Out of the India bloc, I am talking about the India bloc. I corrected that India bloc, the India alliance, is an irresponsible opposition which they are working, and it is their irresponsible behavior which they have shown today.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman, sir, for giving me the opportunity to respond to this 7 to 8 hour long discussion and debate. Without being repetitive about what has already been said by me this morning, and considering the mood of the House, I will just like to add a few points which have been raised during the course of this protracted discussion. But before that, I would like to say that we brought in this bill with all the humility at our command, and I have taken a very keen note of each and every word said. As I said in the beginning itself, we do not stand on prestige. We had come here with a lot of expectation that we would be benefited by some healthy, constructive suggestions. But as the leader of House, Naddaji, has already mentioned, it's unfortunate that many of the honourable members who were most vociferous in raising objections have chosen to walk out when their issues or their points were to be responded. But I'm sure, having learned quite a bit from the Parliament, they must be watching me outside somewhere. And therefore, I will still not disappoint them. Before I pick up a few points that have been raised and which have some relevance also for others, this is an issue which touches every citizen of India. And I'm saying so because I heard some of the members say that I am a stakeholder, so I have a greater stake. Somebody said I am associated with education and therefore I have a stake. Somebody said I am a teacher. But the matter of fact is that this is an issue which has stake with every parent of this country, every family of this country, rather every citizen, because these young children are our huge investment for what Prime Minister Modi describes as Viksit Bharat of 2047. And if just being associated with the education was a stake, then I think I am the greatest stakeholder, having been a medicine teacher for more than 25 years. But nevertheless, before I respond to some of those points, I would have no hesitation, and I say this with all the confidence at my command because we live in an evidence-based era, and each word that we say, because yesterday also there were some data mentioned which did not exist. Like, for example, it was said, and it was said today also, that 152 paper leaks, and yesterday it was said affecting 765 crore children. Now, I don't know where the source is. Unfortunately, today this number was also cited by the leader of opposition. So they have not been able to authenticate where they got from 152 leaks. And let's not forget, the entire population of the world today is around 800 crore. And therefore 765 crore being impacted, 765 crore children being impacted in India is not only hilarious, it's also unbelievable. But I think one of the greatest accomplishments as far as medical education is concerned under Prime Minister Modi after 2014 is that we have made a very earnest effort to liberate it from the management quota malaise and try to make the medical education more accessible. And what the honourable member who just now finished speaking was saying, that now instead of 7 we have 22 aims. From medical colleges 387 we have 844. The number of medical seats in undergraduation level increased from 51,300 to 1,39,000. PG seats from 31,000 to 86,000. 1,300, and I think one of the greatest shortcomings was because of the shortage of the seats in the private sector, in the public sector, some of those who were aspiring to be doctors were constrained to go to the private sector and had to shell out huge amount of fortune, hard-earned fortune by their parents. And therefore, to an extent, this is also a democratization through accessibility and affordability of medical education. And this principle of democratization of education in general has been applied by Prime Minister Modi in the education sector in general as well. And I think the biggest game changer over the last decade has been NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, because it has liberated our adolescent children from the slavery of the subjects chosen by their parents or their guardians or their elders in class 12. For example, if a parent wanted his child to choose medical subjects in class 12 to become a doctor, and somehow the child could not make it, then what was the future course for him or her? He or she would become a prisoner of the subjects chosen. He had to do his graduation again, either biology or botany, then MSc again, PhD still. So the choice became narrower and narrower. And the child went on pursuing the same subjects, even though he did not have the preference of the aptitude. So this is an aptitudinal freedom which has happened with NEP 2020. It should have happened many years earlier. But I don't know what kind of vested interests were there behind it. Not only that, the number of universities over the last 12 years has gone up from 760 to 1,293. There has been 30% expansion in the higher education in general as well, besides medical education, from 51,534 higher education institutions, we are today 64,896. There has been a special focus given. Mr. Kharge was repeatedly referring to education constraints faced by the weaker sections, the scheduled castes, the others. It is this government, for the first time, came out with the concept of Eklavya schools in tribal areas. Unfortunately, it was not mentioned throughout the discussion. So we have today, even today, we have 400 Eklavya schools across the country. Similarly, there was issues raised repeatedly about the opportunities of livelihood not being available. This government, not only, I'll come to that also, if you see the number of employment opportunities which were being referred by some of the members who have just walked out, the matter of fact is that between 2004 to 2014, the number of appointments made in the government jobs by the then UPA government was 7.22 lakh. This can be verified. Whereas in the next 10 years, because I'm being very equitable in comparison, the next 10 years from 2014 to 2024, it was 10.96 lakh. So there is 1.5 times increase in the number of appointments. The leader of opposition was also referring to lesser number of appointments being given to the scheduled castes in the government sector. Our data bears out. Backlog vacancies had not been filled. So backlog vacancies again pertain to OBC. Entire backlog has been completed. And I say this with confidence because the DOPT handles it. We made a fast track campaign and succeeded in doing so. Promotions had been stagnated. बड़ा दुखद कई बार ये दृश्य देखने को मिलता, जो सज्जन 35 साल के बाद उसी पद से सेवानिवृत्त हो जाता. His colleagues would be giving him farewell and he would be moving out with a heavy heart from the same chair. We have given bulk promotions. We did that 4,000, 2,000, 6,000 and cleared all the stagnated promotions so that nobody could remain demotivated in the government service. But what is more important than that also is that we also try to create a culture and a mindset in this country that livelihood does not necessarily mean a sarkari naukri. And therefore came the startup movement. Prime Minister announced it from the ramparts of Red Fort in his Independence Day address of 2015, Startup India, Stand Up India. That time we just had about 350 to 400 startups in this country. Today we have around 240,000. We stand rank 3 in the world as far as our startup ecosystem is concerned. Not only that, we have also now produced startups in some of those sectors where this concept was almost unheard of. For example, the space sector. We simply had one-digit startups, single-digit startups. We have today close to 400, and just 2 weeks back we got one unicorn, the Skyroot, which also received mention during the course of the debate. And Skyroot is our first startup having turned into a unicorn. Average age 28 years, and I think they deserve to be applauded because they also belong to Gen Z. As far as our PhDs are concerned, from rank 7 in 2014, we have risen to rank 3 in 2026. As far as patents are concerned, our youngsters have today successfully filed 1,09,557 patents. And what is notable over here is those who belong to the education sector, the science fields, would bear me out. कहा जाता था कि पेटेंट तो फाइल किया, लेकिन बाहर जाकर के हुआ. हर गोविंद खुराना बाहर गया तो नोबेल प्राइज मिला. Not so. Among these, 60% of the patents registered and filed were Indian residents, resident Indians. यहीं पले बड़े, यहीं पैदा हुए. They got all their training over here and succeeded filing over here. Similarly, a good mention was also made about the National Research Foundation, which is founded by this government, giving special impetus to women. It is this government which launched the Women in Scientist scheme, the WISE scheme in 2018, Nidhi scheme, the Natural, which is the National Initiation for Developing and Harnessing Innovation among students, beginning from class 9. Vigyan Jyoti for girl children, beginning from class 9. I can go on and on for the whole day. And that is what has changed the scenario. 15 years back, our youth were looking for the first opportunity to go out of India because they did not have enough opportunities. Today, many of them are looking forward to come back. And to honor their spirit, we have launched a program called Vaibhav program, where we arrange projects for them over here. And therefore, this government under Prime Minister Modi holds the youth of this country in the highest esteem, and actually their esteem across the world has gone up. Those who have seen the scenario 15 years ago and who have been familiar with this field will wear me out. Many of our children, when they went out, they were hesitant even to give their introduction as Indians. Today, if a child says that he or she, the youth says that he or she is from India, the rating in the employment market suddenly goes up, as was being mentioned by Sudhanshuji also. Many of our top executives there are also from India. The other point, sir, what I wanted to make over here is that again and again, the mention was made that paper leak has happened, but will it solve the issue? Somehow, I think many of the members who were not over here now, have not read the title of the bill fully. No two words in English language mean the same. Not anywhere in this title of the bill is word paper leak mentioned. So it's not confined to paper leak at all, Chairman, sir. It is prevention of unfair means, PUM. That was the bill which I only had piloted in 2024, and the same bill is being amended today. And when you talk of unfair means, one of the components is leakage. And if you want me to elaborate, because I said, as a student of science, we've been taught not to speak without evidence. I'll just try to quickly read out. 1, leakage of question paper or answer key. That is 1 point. One of the components of the unfair means. 2, participating in collusion with others. 3, accessing or taking possession of question paper or OMR. 4, providing solution in one or more questions by any unauthorized person. 5, directly or indirectly assisting the candidate in any manner unauthorized. 6, tampering with answer sheets, including optical mark recognition response sheets. 7, altering the assessment except to correct a bona fide error. 8, willful violation of norms and standards set up by the central government. 9, tampering with any document necessary for shortlisting of candidates or finalizing merit or rank of a candidate. 9, 10. Deliberate violation of security measures to facilitate unfair means. 11. Tampering with the computer network or computer resource or a computer system. 12. Manipulation in setting arrangements, allocation of dates and shifts for the candidates in facilitating adopting unfair means in examinations. 13. Threatening the life, the liberty or wrongfully restraining persons associated with the Public Examination Authority or the service provider or any other authorized agency of the government or of obstructing the conduct of a public examination. 14. Creation of fake website to cheat otherwise or for monetary gain. And 16. Conduct of fake examination, issue of fake admit card and offer letters to a cheat or for monetary gain. So it's a huge spectrum of unfair means, right up to fake websites, fake admit cards, which none of the members have pointed out because it's gone beyond their imagination. So it's been a very diligently worked out bill. In fact, what I read is part of the bill, which only goes on to say that much has not been read, which would have satisfied many of the members. If you go for the reforms, as early as in 2014, in his Independence Day address, Prime Minister Modi called for abolition of interviews in government appointments. So that was the first major reform as far as our examination systems for recruitment and higher education admission were concerned. And therefore, there was a level playing field given. There were earlier complaints about a child getting 100 marks in written, being not given enough marks in interview in order to favor someone else by way of nepotism, favoritism, etc. Modular online application portal has been introduced. Verification of number of attempts in civil services, other exams has been introduced. Face authentication has been introduced. Provisional answer keys are being provided by the UPSC and SSC. And candidate help desks are there. And very recently the UPSC has also. And this bill does not cover only NTA. It also covers, as I said in the morning, but I think I was not taken very seriously. It also covers UPSC, it also covers SSC, it also covers Railway Recruitment, and it also covers banking services. And therefore, the Pratibha Setu, we have been so sensitive. Many of those children or many of those youth who make up to the second step of the civil service examination, the final examination, but in the interview, by just a stroke of luck, they don't make it. They are as good as those who have already made it into IAS or IRS. For them, we last year set up Pratibha Setu so that they can be accessed by PSUs, private companies. Already 335 private companies have registered on this portal. The average time taken for the conduct of many of these recruitment agencies was earlier 9 months and 8 days, reduced to 8 months and 24 days as far as the SSC concerned. Cyber security concerns were raised. Already the measures have been taken. The CCTV cameras have been taken. If I go on and on, it will be taking long. But yes, I would have to mention about some of the members said that Radhakrishnan Committee has not been implemented. As I say, unfortunately, I think the bill has not been ready in full because, in spite of the fact that enough time was given by the chairman, by the chair, Radhakrishnan Committee recommended, as I said in the morning, 46 key recommendations. I said this in the morning, but I did not elaborate because I thought it was not necessary. Out of that, 76% have already been implemented. Now, for the satisfaction of those who still refuse to believe, the specific measures that have already been implemented include A. Aadhaar-based biometric authentication. B. AI-enabled face authentication. C. Multi-layer frisking. D. CCTV surveillance. E. Signal jammers.
No change.
F. State and district coordination committees. G. Grievance reporting and redressal cell. And 9. The restructuring of NTA, which has already been initiated. Now, referring to some of the specifics that have been raised, the LOP in the morning was feeling hurt when I narrated the different. Yeah, I'll take another 5 minutes because because this is important because I'm sure I'm being watched somewhere. So the LOP in the morning mentioned that in. No, I see. I'm saying I'm being very specific.
You are a good opposition leader.
No, but I have been very specific in what I'm saying. That the paper leaks mentioned by me in my introductory remarks had selectively pointed out to some states. Not so, Sir Chairman. I picked up all the states and said no state has been untouched. Rather, those who have walked out have selectively missed out, referring to Punjab and Karnataka, which are the latest instances. Then 152 leaks I have already mentioned. And then there was also this mention of some of the, what the so-called, as he alleged, the brutality is unleashed on the children. Not so. There does not mean any casualty reported. On the other hand, one of the members from this side rightly mentioned there was a firing on the sadhus in that cow agitation in 1966 outside Parliament, and in Assam during the student association, which lasted from 1979 to 1984, because repeatedly we were being, and when Congress was in power, the exact number of casualties I have searched out, it was 860, mostly students. And when we are being repeatedly asked this question, I think they are asking from their own experience, because when Congress was in power, that was their approach, but not so under the Modi government, and that is why this is a party with difference. No, I will point what is important. I think I can enjoy that privilege at least. Now, that has been mentioned that there was some mention that NTA should be abolished or it should be changed. The point here again being missed is that more number of these paper leaks have happened through state level agencies, the state public service commissions, through state service boards, and not necessarily through NTAs. Similarly, no, not at all. Who said that? Who said that? You are not understanding. That is why I am saying you didn't read the bill. And in fact, the initiation of the NTA improvement has already been taken over. The task force that I mentioned in the morning, headed by Mr. Nilkani, is actually tasked with this. And what I was going to say now is going to answer what you said. Some of the suggestions have been made, like referring to so-called coaching industry and how to bring more transparency, etc., etc. So I would like to mention over here that that is precisely the agenda for which this committee has been constituted. And these suggestions are welcome. The suggestions would be taken from any citizen of the country, all the stakeholders, and even from others. And therefore, in the end, so in the end, the issue is so vast and so serious, Chairman, sir, that it can't be left to government alone. The government is already doing its bit, it will continue to do. We call for cooperation from all sections of society, from individual citizens, for families, for even the parents of the children. We are open to receive the suggestions. We are proceeding with an open mind, and we are not only ready to walk the talk, we are in fact ready to walk an extra mile. Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Now, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji to reply to the discussion.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Thank you, Chairman, sir, for giving me the opportunity
Please.
to respond